We're at 9:15 in the morning, and you are tuned to 1550 AM WNTN in Cambridge, Needham, and Boston. We're streaming at WNTN.com. It's Mondays with Meleti, and your host, Meleti Pouliopoulos. I have a very special guest in the studio with me, Irene Savas. She's the president of the Boston Lykeion Ellinidon. They are a cultural nonprofit here celebrating Greek culture and traditions. Let's just say, make sure we have her on the microphone. Kalimera, Irene.
Kalimera there. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm fine, Meleti. How are you?
Good, good, good.
It's a beautiful day today.
Isn't it?
I don't want to start mourning the fact that summer is gone, but
well, officially, summer is going to run until the 22nd, I understand,
that's
of September.
Okay with me.
That
we'll
works,
keep on
right?
going.
How are you? You know, the last time I saw the Boston Lykeion Ellinidon was at the Ipswich Festival, and I'm always impressed that you always refresh your programs. It's not the same program that you do time after time after time. And they were beautiful costumes. Can you tell us what that program was about?
So that this year we would consider every time we do a performance at festivals, we'd like to do two different sets. One showing mainland dances of a particular region, and the second set showing dances of the islands or the diaspora, some of the outposts of Greek civilization. So this year we concentrated on Thrace for the mainland, and we had beautiful photosyes that we showed and danced in. They were from Metaxades in Thrace, and also from Kavakli in Thrace for the women.
So when you say those names, are those places? Or?
They are places or villages or special regions of Thrace. So
how did you come about the costumes?
It's very much a matter of research. You know, we look at them and say, okay, this represents a lot of the dances of Thrace, so we're going to show the costumes. And I don't like to call them costumes.
No, right? I'm trying not to either, because people think, oh, Halloween.
Absolutely not. They are traditional dress, of the areas that we represent, and these were things that the women and men wore.
Yes.
Daily or for celebrations. I think most of our photosyes are celebratory because we like to show the most beautiful handiwork that is done on them, and from the loom, from women's hands, it's embroideries. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, and when you start studying them, you learn so much about what the different pieces of the photosyes represents.
Yeah.
So this year we did Thraki for our mainland, and then we did the Cyclades, the Kyklades for the island set, and we now have the most beautiful. In fact, what you saw was a preliminary photosyes from the Kyklades, but now wait till you see what's happening in September. We have a whole new set that just has been made for us from a very dedicated woman in Greece who's actually a mother of one of our dancers. And they're going to be beautiful. I'm sure that everybody's going to love them because we'd like to represent the different areas that we dance in.
You know, people a lot of times just know about the region from Greece that they're from, and there's such diversity. As diverse as the landscape of Greece, so are the traditions.
Yes.
And your organization is preserving not just the dance tradition. This is what you've been most known for in the area. I think everyone says, "Oh, here comes the Lykeion. They're going to perform the folk dances." And since for years you've been getting out and introducing those dances and giving people context and transferring those traditions to the dancers who participate and to the audience who appreciate it. So I have to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that it's appreciated because we try very hard to give a full presentation.
Yeah.
Of the region, and for the edification and enjoyment of our audiences. And a lot of people are Greeks, but they don't know about these things, and especially here now in America, things are starting to fade away as far as the traditions, and we want to keep them because they're very important. They're an important part of our legacy. And that's what we try to do when we do our performances. We want to give a full picture, not only of the dances, what they talk about, where they come from, why the steps are done this certain way, all of that. It all becomes part of what celebrations are in the process. Why do they celebrate and do these dances? All of that is all part of what we like to show. I always like to say this, and I don't know if I don't know, but I always like to say that we are a living museum.
You are. You are. You
So,
you are. You are showing everyone that this is living tradition. And it was just recently that I thought that I remember seeing some things some years ago about the women's circle that you have. And but before we get into that, and because I think that some people that are listening are going to say women's circle, and we'll I'll ask you about that. We did have a donation of folk attire, and by some people that came into the library at St. George in Manchester. And just as I was leaving last Tuesday, Mrs. Pappas Desjardins, and Mrs. Tsingos had walked in, each holding dresses. And they said, we'd like to donate these, and where can they go? And we thought of you immediately because this question comes up all the time, and people have all kinds of tablecloths and things that were stitched by hand. We've got my great-grandmother, her underwear
wow.
that she wore,
No, that's important.
and I'm
That's
trying
important.
yeah, I told my sister, I said, we should give it to you. I mean, this is going to survive.
Yeah.
So
These are our roots.
yeah,
This is what,
it's our roots, right?
yeah.
It impressed me, and I want the audience to know that, Irene, one of the things I love about you and your organization is that you have partnered. Not only have you've come into the community and everybody knows you, you go out into the community, but you have partnered with organizations, and I appreciate our working relationship.
I so appreciate that, Meleti. It's wonderful.
You know,
We both have that same feeling that we want to preserve our culture.
we do.
And you do it in one way, we do it in another, but we collaborate as well.
We collaborate as
It's
well.
it's wonderful. You've been helping us with. I want to talk about the Forestias, but since you mentioned this, we are reviving oral history recordings of women that not how did you come to America, that sort of story that's been
Right.
done by others. What we are interested in is the culture and traditions and how we're going to preserve them. So we are interviewing women who have lived these traditions in Greece and now are here in America. We want to know how their life was, what they did, how they celebrated their holidays, how they brought up their families, what did they wear, what did they cook, how did they, the handicrafts. We want to revive those handicrafts. And we have lots of women now. We have this wonderful thing that we just organized
Yeah.
because we found that, yes, the dance performances and the dancing that we do, it's very well known and it's very well established, and we really enjoy presenting that to the public. But there are other people in the Lykeion and in the area that are interested in not necessarily dance, but the other parts of our culture.
Yeah.
So this is what the Women's Circle is going to be all about, and we've started this this summer. It's going strong, and we have women that are coming. And right now, we're working on embroideries and looking at old patterns and things of different fotosias and trying to recreate them on embroideries. With the group, some of us, like I, are. Are learning how to do this.
Yeah, you've been having your meetings over at the Maliotti
We
Center.
do twice a month.
And these are, we should add that these are open to members of the Lykeion.
They're open to members because this is just as the dance group is
Yeah.
is a membership thing. It's open to women.
Yes.
Sorry, women
That's okay.
that are members. I mean, we're recreating what used to be done when they used to sit in the village and go out and sit out on the pavement and talk and do their embroideries at the same time. And this is the kind of thing that we're doing.
That's right. That's so great that you're doing that. And I have to say that several years ago, there was another collection that had come through, and that was the collection of Sam Chianis. And his son said, "Where can we donate these?" And I said immediately, the Lykeion. And I called and asked you. I think I sent you some pictures. But what impressed me is when I pulled up to the house with, I don't know, something like 12 boxes
Yeah.
of all kinds of stuff, that you and your son Michael were able to look at the attire, look at the textiles, and say it's from this region, and this is with this material, or and I was just so blown away by that.
Well, it's an education. It's been an education for me, and hopefully for others that are part of the Lykeion. It's amazing. I never, ever, ever was able to delve into this the way I can now. And
What's beautiful is that if you have children, the Lykeion has been since 1998, but your programs really preceded that. You've done a lot of work in this area, and in dance, in ethnomusicology, and you've traveled. You've taken all of your experience, and you pour it into this organization, and you offer that up. So people that come and they want to learn about these traditions, not everyone is playing baseball, after all,
that's
right?
true.
I wasn't that kind of a kid. I was more good on my feet, dancing.
Yeah.
And so you have seen really a couple of generations now. I think your first dancers are bringing their babies to
They are. They
so
are.
sweet.
And guess what?
I love that.
We have had 8 marriages that have come out of people dancing in the Lykeion and knowing each other and falling in love through the dance group.
Oh, that's so nice. What a way, huh? That's so sweet. Well, it's really something because without this, what would they have? Everything would be Zembekika and Kalamatiana. And without any context and
Well,
that
our
connection.
culture is much more rich than just that. Not
Yeah.
to downplay that, but there's more.
Right. And you have endeavored for so many years to show the different parts of our culture and show traditions through not just dance events, but events, special events, through workshops. You've held music workshops we can go into. Can we talk about some of the historic events that you've
Well,
done?
one thing that I want to mention, which was really I think the groundbreaking event that we presented as a Lykeion, is way back in 2003. We did a program called Ramos. And what we
Yes.
did there was it was a multifaceted event, but we pulled traditions and researched different traditions from different areas of Greece and pulled them all together and showed a traditional Ramos, but not necessarily from just one traditional area, but all the different ethima that go on in the different areas that are part of a Ramos. And that was very, very well accepted and appreciated. And I think it helped us because we'd learned a lot from that. And we went on from there.
Was that program filmed? I know it was back, you
Yes,
say
it
now
was.
20 years ago. Okay, it was.
Yes.
Okay, so this is really, really great. I have to say, for those of you that are subscribers to the National Herald in New York, this week's issue has a little small piece, and it says, after 14 months, Panayotis Tsilfidis still revels in traditional Greek wedding. And she was from here, and she said, gee, if I can't have my wedding in Greece, I'm going to have it at my church. And they did. They wanted to bring in some traditions, and I never heard of this, so I've got to ask you about it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the bottom line said, the bottom paragraph says, her family held a celebration before the wedding, and she wrote the names of the single woman in the
On
bridal.
the bottom part, on the soles of the girls' feet.
You
of
knew
shoes,
that?
yes.
I had never heard that.
Absolutely.
Oh, is that so? Where is that from? So it's New
all
Hampshire and
All, yes, the traditional village of
Stratham, New
Manchester.
Hampshire, right? Love it. But see, you knew about that,
Yeah.
and somehow she knew about it,
Yeah.
and I think the kids are very curious about their traditions, and if we don't, one of the saddest moments for me is I got a phone call from someone who graduated from a Hellenic day school, an accredited school, and they called me up and they said, Meleti, do you know what good folk music is? And I said, didn't you get that in school, your Hellenic day school? And she said, not really. And they want to know, where's your family from? My father's from Crete. Oh, let's start in Crete. And it's that kind of thing. When people come into the organization, what do you find? That they have that curiosity about?
Absolutely. That's why they're there.
That's why they're there.
They know that we can help them with that, and
Yeah.
as they participate, they learn, just like I did.
That's right.
Just like I did.
So let's take a moment and refer people, because I know sometimes when people are listening, I know at home I do. I'd like to also look at a website. The website is very simple: Boston Lykeion. It's LYKEION.org.
Exactly.
And it is a nonprofit organization, a 501c3.
Correct.
And I also want people to do what I did, which is look you up on Facebook, because the Facebook group is wonderful as well.
Yeah, Boston Lykeion Ellinidon, Facebook.
Yeah. You can join the mailing list. You can also support the Lykeion Ellinidon, and as for as little as $25, you can be a member, and and I think that's just a great vote of confidence for the organization.
So the Lykeion started with this woman, Kalidroi Paren, in 1911 in Greece. She was a suffragette. She was a reporter. She was a journalist. She was very, very well educated, and she wanted to bring that education to the women of Greece. And she campaigned for that for many years, but the Lykeion actually started from her in 1911. And now it has grown all over Greece. We are a branch of it, I should say. So we.
Can I ask you, because I never asked you this? How did you find out about the Lykeion? I mean, they weren't really, it wasn't. I didn't hear about it up in New Hampshire, or in New York, where I was all those years.
Well, there are only 2 Lykeion Ellinidon chapters in the United States. We are one of them, and there's one other in Atlanta, Georgia. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
And
so
you are able to draw. That's a really great. It's a prestigious.
it's very prestigious.
We should be very honored. But you also have the wealth of knowledge and everything from that organization.
True, that we can draw on. But the way it got started with us is that we had dance instructors, because I had a dance group to begin with.
Right.
And we had dance instructors from the Lykeion Ellinidon come and start teaching us dances. And they were the ones that said, we really think you would be wonderful if you would be one of the branches of the Lykeion. And so it developed, and I was very surprised because we did a wonderful dance conference, the first dance conference in this area.
Oh, wow, no kidding.
In Boston.
Yes.
And that was in 1998. And the 2 wonderful representatives, the wonderful teachers who are now my wonderful friends, they came from Greece to instruct, and the woman who was instructing, Elpida Pouliopoulos, she was on the board of the Lykeion in Athens.
Yes.
And suddenly she gets up on the podium. I'm going to get teary-eyed thinking of this. And she presents us with the seal and the citation that we have become a branch of the Lykeion Ellinidon.
Wow. Wow. Oh, congratulations. It's
Thank you.
So beautiful.
Since then, we've tried to do a lot of other things to bring up our organization. I really hope that the people of this area understand that what we are doing is not just a dance group.
Right.
Okay, we are trying to preserve our culture for future generations, and very different ways of doing this. We did mention the women's circle. We do a lot of presentations.
Well, can we talk about your collection as well? You have quite a large collection. I did see part of it at one point. Tell us about that.
Well, people are giving us different artifacts, and of course photosyas that they have in there, just as you receive these wonderful photosyas from the women in New Hampshire. People will come to us and say, we want to preserve our photosya, but we have nobody in the family that's going to be using it anymore. Is there something that you could do with it? We'd love to have them. Our only situation is that we have nowhere right now to display them. And I am appealing to people in the audience, if there's anybody that has any thoughts about where we could display and have a permanent exhibit. We don't have a specific office,
right?
Just as you don't.
Right.
And we would like to have something that maybe have a wonderful library, or not really a museum, but just an exhibit area that we
Yes.
could display some of these, because it's very important that people see these, and it connects them with their culture, with their roots.
Yeah.
So
At least what you're doing is they do get shown. They do get used. You have special events. You have beyond the dance. You have workshops, and what's really nice is your organization, as I said before, is out in the community. So anyone that wants to join and learn more about the traditions and see the clothing up close. Tell us, the Weaving Circle now is twice a month?
it's twice a month, yeah,
Okay.
every other Tuesday. It is Women's Circle
Yes.
because the Lykeion is, by name, a women's organization.
Right.
However, we do have memberships and we do have members that are men, of course.
That was my
of
other
course.
question too, because the dance troupe, there are men.
Yes.
There
Yes.
are, right? Okay. Was
Yes.
that a special provision?
No, that's always been, even from the beginning of the Lykeion, they always had men as part of the dance. It started with women, but of course, to show the traditional dances, you have to have the men in there. They're very much a part of the dancing.
Yeah. So, and you've also had many workshops, and there were musical workshops where music and culture and attire, and traditions, and very proud. I think the last time you were here in the studio, it was for the Asia Minor program.
Yes,
right?
it was we did an Asia commemorating of the 100th anniversary of the disaster of the catastrophe of Smyrna. But
Yeah.
what we wanted to do with that is to celebrate the people of Smyrna and the traditions that were there, and that we want to keep them going. Not focusing on the other side of it.
No,
But,
no.
But this is a culture that we don't want to become eradicated. We want to make sure that we remember all this.
From our roots, flowers bloom. Celebrating 25 years. There was a dance. You were celebrating also that you had your 25th anniversary.
That was last year. That was another event
Just
that we did
last
last year,
year.
and celebrated and showed the progress of the Lykeion from Kaliroiparen all the way up to us, and all the chapters all around the world now, and what we are doing here in the Lykeion.
And look what you've done to bring our traditions beyond the Greek community. The Lowell Folk Festival.
Yes, that
And
was a little innovation last year, because our Sandy Theodorou, who is part of our board, and she is also the director of the Revma
Yes.
Orchestra.
Yes.
And they always perform at the folk festival. We, through her, were able to get a very innovative thing to actually perform at the folk festival. Not exactly showcasing us, but showcasing what they were doing as musical numbers, and we would be performing the dances that go along with them.
Yeah, see that. So that's really beautiful, and that was just this past year.
And that was
Isn't
last year,
right?
yes.
And I just want to go back to one more historical thing, and then we can go forward. Is that you had done an excellent program on the women changemakers of Greek history. Can you tell us how that came about?
Well, that was the Greek War of Independence year. That was 2021.
Yes.
And all the Lykeion all over the world were commemorating that time in history with many different things. And we were part of that because the Consulate General of Greece in Boston and we worked on a panel discussion showing how women are change makers in Greek history to the present day. And there were several panelists on there, Dr. Kalavarezu from Harvard, Dr. Kundura from Emerson College,
Yes.
Mrs. Hadzopoulos from Levitronics Technologies, and our own Dr. Sophia Koustas, who was a member of our board at that time, from Southern New Hampshire University. And they had a wonderful panel discussion that was open to all the public to hear. And that was part of our commemoration of the 2021 anniversary of the bicentennial War of Independence.
That's really...
We also did some very, very fun things with that. We had members of our Lykeion actually do blogs talking about different women who were heroines of the Greek War of Independence.
Really?
Yes, and we also did a trivia game online with all different facts from the Greek War of Independence.
That's
So people could
wonderful.
participate with us in that.
Oh, that's so great. Yeah. Our guest this morning is Irene Savas. She's the president of the Boston Lykeion Ellinidon. They're a cultural nonprofit here in the Boston area. And Irene, it's so impressive how much participation there is in your organization. When I say that, it's the members, it's the audience, and the people who receive your information. There's a lot of participation in your work, and I think you should be very, very proud of that. I sense that that's probably by design, that you also at one point had sanctioned you were doing regular dance performances in Cambridge, not performances, rehearsals.
Rehearsals, yeah,
And
practices.
then, and at your home at one point, and then you had sanctioned some satellite things, so up in New Hampshire and in Manchester.
Right. We did some children's dance classes. We actually had people from Dover, New Hampshire, children, I should say, from Dover, New
Yes.
Hampshire, and from Manchester, and also from Andover, where I taught there for many years. These did become part of our dance group for a while they were around.
Yeah.
You know, they scatter when they become college age.
They do. They do.
But the what has become now the Boston Lykeion Ellinidon dance troupe is not children; it's adults. They have to be not they have to be, but they become part of the dance group when they're about 20 years old and above. But we have and above.
And above.
And above.
That's
They can be
good.
30, 40, 50 years old. It doesn't matter as long as they like to dance and they want to learn it, and we welcome them.
It's it's so beautiful to me to see people who have studied the tradition, because when they come out to dance, they are so well orchestrated. And you can see that they're understanding the different movement styles within the different regions of Greece.
It's very important to us to make it authentic.
Authentic,
Right.
you know.
I mean, a lot of jumps and leaps and acrobatics are not really part of it. What we really want to, I mean, yes, there's some. The leader can do some certain moves and that sort of thing. But we want to make sure that we show the authentic steps, the authentic style of the dance that is performed or was performed in these various regions.
Do you have any performances, dance performances, or other coming up that we should know? What's on the calendar for the Lykeion?
Well, this month,
Oh.
this month is like absolutely full. September is an incredible month for us because we dance at so many festivals in the area. So we are starting this next weekend with performances in Marlborough and in Lynn. The next weekend we are in Cohasset. The next weekend we are in Westwood, Massachusetts.
Oh.
And
At
also,
St. Mark's?
I forgot to mention Somerville.
Oh, okay.
And so, yes. And then we end up in a multicultural festival in New Hampshire, in Concord, New Hampshire, at the end of the month.
Wonderful.
So every weekend is full.
Oh, that's nice. In Concord, there's going to be, because they have one up in Laconia. Is that by the state? Is there? Are they
This
ones?
is an organization. I'm not sure that it's a state-run thing.
Right. Wow, that's really something. That's really great, Irene. Thank you. And again, their website, Boston Lykeion, it's LYKEION.org. I think right away I sent you an email the other night because it had been a while since I had been to your site. And because I'm on Facebook a lot, sort of. I don't let people know, but I am there. and I just saw, I was so impressed with that website and all the different areas, the beautiful photos and everything. So thank you again for all that you're doing. Tell us
Thank you.
about in case I want to make sure we didn't miss anything. Can you tell us about beyond the dance now, the different, and the clothing, because we've talked about that.
Yeah.
What other areas are there of the Lykeion here?
Well, the very, very important thing that we're doing now is this oral history, the oral histories that we mentioned before. And we had some tapes that we had done many years ago, and we were wondering how we're going to revive those because they are on tape. And through your wonderful, gracious, thank you so much with your
Oh.
gracious,
We're digitizing
digitize them.
everything, right?
Thank you, that word.
You're
We
getting
digitize them for us, and now we're
Yeah.
going to be working on those. They're going to be part of our library. Let me say, the library is for people to come. This is what we're trying to do. We want to establish something that will be available as resources for people. So if anybody wants to learn about their traditions and they say, oh, this is somebody that's talking about the traditions of the village that my mom grew up in,
Exactly.
they can come. They
They-
can come and enjoy that. So this is why we're building up this library. But the oral histories are very, very important to us. And we want to thank you for giving us a jump start on that. Thank you so, so much.
Oh, absolutely. Irene, what's the best way for people to reach you?
I think our best way is through through our
The website?
the website or through our email address, which is
Yes.
info@bostonlykeion.org.
Info at bostonlykeion.org. That's really good. And so there's oral history that we've talked about, and which is very, very important. And you're going through and you're doing archiving. You have a folklore library. And so anyone that's studying the tradition or just is curious and wants to know, and eventually you'll have things available so people can see perhaps past events that you've held.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
really great.
One of the other things that we've done, of course, is in the past is we had special programs that highlighted different areas of Greece. We started doing the Carnavali series, where we were showing each year a tradition of a different Apokriatiko celebration
Yes.
in a different area, and we had these going on for many years. We were very, very well received and had a lot of fun doing them because we actually created the costuming, I'm going to say, that goes along with those events. They're not traditional attire. So we did the Meriu of Macedonia. We
Yes.
did Kalimnos, the island of Kalimnos.
With Panayotis.
With Panayotis League.
Yes.
Yeah. And we did Crete. And we did Mandinades while we were doing that. And we're doing some of the dances that were fun dances. They were, silly dances that they did at Carnival, just to
Yes.
recreate all that atmosphere of what it was like. So those are very special events. We want to try to do that. We want to try to focus on different themes that we can present to the public about the different traditions that we do.
Those events that you mentioned, by the way, I was in the audience. And really, you brought everyone in. And they were such memorable events. I even remember who I sat with. I remember, we had so much fun. I also remember going to other events where all of a sudden the Lykeion would come out. I remember when Manos Kousangelidis had come. And thank you to George Papadopoulos, if he's listening. He sponsored Manos that year. And the Lykeion came out with spoons and did the spoon dance when
Yes.
he was doing the music from Cappadocia.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen that done here. And it filled me with such joy. So it was great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That's what we're aiming for.
yeah, that's exactly it, Irene. So.
Yeah, it's all to keep our traditions alive. I think it's important. We're here in America where it's traditions get dissolved.
Yeah.
Not purposely, but it just happens.
Right.
So.
Yeah. We don't. For some people, tradition is never on Sunday, and it's the flaming saganaki and that
throwing
sort of
plates.
thing.
How about throwing plates?
Throwing plates. Personally, I came from a whistling and foot slapping kind of group. Still a little of that goes on in my house, and from time to time. But it's always good to see you, Irene. Is there anything that we've forgotten that we need to say?
Well, I think I just want to say thank you for accepting those donations for us, the Forestias. And if anybody would like to, you could also adopt one of our Forestias
There you go.
as a donation. If you'd like to give a donation to the Lykeion, we could put a little tag on that Forestia and say this is donated by.
Yeah, or maybe your organization would like some information about the folk traditions from that area, and
Exactly.
and they want to sponsor the study of that,
Yeah.
and the acquisition of costumes and music and everything that goes into it. That's a great idea, Irene. So, thank you again. I guess we'll say goodbye.
Well, goodbye, and thank you once again, Meleti, for all you do for us and for having us on the program today. Really enjoy it.
Thank you, Irene. We'll see you out at one of these festivals.
We will.
Thank you.
Opa.
Opa.